Welcome to this new video in which I'm going to describe how we can install SQL Server 2019. So this will help you work on your project. So the first thing that I'm going to go is to launch my Chrome, and then you can write download a SQL Server 2019. So I'm just going to the first link, microsoft.com, and click on this SQL Server downloads of this Microsoft website. And here you can see there are different versions of SQL Server. I'm not going to use Azure or the Edge. And come down here and you can see the download a free specialized edition. So I like, or I love this word free. So we can use the developer version or the express version. This is basically the developer version is a full featured free edition. So which we can use it for non-production environment. So it means whatever we do, we cannot sell a product by making this. It is only for development, for testing, and that is what our objective is. And also the express is another lightweight edition of the SQL Server. You can also use it, especially it is good for desktop, web, and small server applications. It will also work equally well for this course. And anyways, I would like to use the developer edition, so I'm just going to download now. If you want, as I said, for this project especially, which you are going to work, you can download the express edition as well, so it doesn't matter for this course, but I would like to download this developer edition. So I'm clicking on this download now, and it will start to download the SQL Server, the developer edition. And apart from the SQL Server, which basically store our data and all those things will be done inside this SQL Server developer edition. But apart from that, we also, by the way, if you want to install on the Docker, you can select this Docker, and for Linux, you can select the Linux here, but I'm not going to show it. But and apart from the SQL Server, we also need a user interface. That is what we call it, the Download SQL Server Management Studio, SSMS. Basically, this is we need it actually. So for creating the data, for looking at the data inside, inserting, maybe we can also use this user interface to manage it. So the first thing that I have already downloaded is the developer edition, and now I'm going to download this SQL Server Management Studio also. And from here, I just need to download this SQL Server Management Studio. So I also downloaded the SQL Server Management Studio. It will take a little time, 635 MB. So I'm just going to this location and try to install SQL Server Developer Edition. So I minimize it. I just open the folder and it should be in my downloads. So I'm just going to my downloads folder and I'm just going to double click on it. So it will basically download my all the packages of the SQL Server. And from here you can select the basic, custom, or download media. Basic is basically a basic installation step, but I want to select the custom so that we will see what needs to be part of our SQL Server. The language Turkcell is not supported, and so I'm just going to use the English. So I'm going to select yes, and this is going to extract my SQL Server. First download it and extract in a location, so you can see that this is the minimum space is required, and this is what the actually the size of the download. So it is about 1.42 GB. So I'm going to click on install. It will take a little bit to download these 1400 MB data, and then we will start with the installation. So I'm going to pause the video. Okay, so if this screen does not appear, then what you can do is, this is the location that I selected, and here is SQL Server 2019, and you can go here and double click on this setup.exe. So now the first thing that I need to do, I don't, if you want to read, just read it, installation, and I'm just going to create a new instance of SQL Server. So I'm going to click on this. It will take a little bit time because it is setting up something for checking up the requirements and all those stuff. So I'm clicking on next. This step might take some time also, and it is install setup files. So it has finished, and this one says that there is firewall warning, and I'm just going to, it is a warning, so I don't need to worry about it. So click on next, and here what you want, specify a free edition, or if you have a product you can install it. You can select express, evaluation, or developer. I'm just going to click on developer and click next. Of course you have to accept the license and click next. So on this page you need to select the features that you want for your SQL Server. The first thing that I need is the database engine, so which is basically going to store my basic data and all those stuff, and rest of them right now we don't need it. The integration services or this and that, and replication, machine learning, fully featured text and semantics, but these all services are available in this developer edition. And other things, just I will select client connectivity tools if I need to make a connection with from my application to this one, and literally that's it. And this is the location. I'm just going to keep the location as it is, but we only need this database engine services for this project, and I click on next. So here there are two options, the default instance and the named instance. This is the name that we need to give it to our SQL Server, and it will be given a unique ID. Here as you can see it is written as MS SQL Server. So when I select the default instance, it means my SQL Server can be accessed using my computer name only. And if we want, we can give a named instance. So in that case, we can use that named instance to access the SQL Server. So here I'm just using the default instance. So I'm just clicking on next. Remember that this MS SQL Server name, which we need it when we are going to connect our Windows application, Windows Forms application with this SQL Server. So this name, don't forget that I keep it as MS SQL Server. You can change it and keep whatever you want. And on this page, this is the SQL Server database engine, and it says which account you will be using and what will be the password. I'm just keeping these things as it is without changing them. And here you can select two modes actually for database engine configuration for authentication. One is the Windows authentication, which means that the user who logs into your system will also be able to log in into our SQL Server. Or you can use a mixed mode in which you can specify the password for your account, that is the SQL Server administrator account, which we call it the SA account, system administrator. And if you want, you can use a password for it. So when you want to log in with this mixed mode, then you need to provide the username and password when connecting from Windows Form to this SQL Server. But I just want to keep the Windows authentication as it is, and I'm going to add the current user, which my username and a password. So I will be using my current username and a password and to enter into my Windows, and I don't need to authenticate, or I don't need to separately provide username and a password when I want to connect with this SQL server. So that's why I added my own username and a password. If you want, you can add more users here. So just for myself, I just keep it as it is and click on next. So this is just displaying the summary, what will be the size and what features will be installed, and then I'm just clicking on install. So it will take a little bit time. I'm just going to pause the video and will resume it after finishing. So the installation is complete, and as you can see that our required features have been installed successfully, and I'm just going to close it.